All right, guys, welcome back to Real Estate Investing with Alex Deacon. Alex!
Yeah!
My friend, my sir, my confidant.
Yes, sir.
My tutor, my role model, my new hero.
Oh, please.
So listen, so in the past couple episodes, we've kind of been stringing you guys along a little, we've been leaving little breadcrumbs here. First, we talked about, earlier on this week, we talked about, buying your first property, now what? Then we kind of bridged over into open houses and staging. And today we're going to kind of talk about marketing your flip. So
Yes.
if you're buying a property and you plan on flipping that, that's what we're going to talk about. So, Alex, the Deacon, all the knowledge that you have, please share the wealth.
Okay. Well, let's talk. I'm going to test you. Okay.
Ooh,
We're going to do some testing.
So here's public
So
failure.
marketing your flip,
Marketing our flip.
or as one of my friends, Filipino friends, good buddy I went to high school with, great guy. Marketing your plip.
Flips?
Your plip. He would call it a plip. So let's market our plip. How can we do that? We can do it by staging, right? Virtual tours, the color schemes we use in the house, carpeting picks, flooring picks, signs. You can have a website. You can literally have a website for your house, right? Neon lights out front saying, "Buy this house, please." You could have chicks in bikinis out front, or maybe guys in, Speedos, whatever.
The Borat.
Or both.
The Borat, yeah.
Whatever you need. Whatever works. Price is part of marketing. Landscaping. Let's see, overall curb appeal, right? The sights and smells when you walk into the house. Furniture, like staging, like we talked. Out of all of those, and probably hundreds of other things we can talk about, what was the most important, do you think?
Price.
Price. That is correct. But you knew that. Folks, don't let them fool you, because we did this before, and you picked something else.
Yeah, I didn't see it on.
You
I
picked
didn't
the
think
chicks
about
in
it.
bikinis, didn't you?
No. Oh, way to throw me under the bus. Thanks. So when my wife listens to this, no, I didn't see price on it. Now I will say this though, after reading through it, it makes a hell of a lot of sense, because what better way to market your home than by the price of the home?
Price is everything. It's 99% of it. It really is.
And that's 90%.
Maybe it's not. It's probably not 99% of it when you're talking like $1 million houses.
Okay.
We're selling to folks that have just money they don't know what to do with.
A little more high maintenance. They really want you to work for the sale.
I guess it's a different market. I don't know that market, but anything under like $500,000 or even $1 million. $1 million doesn't buy a lot of home today in some neighborhoods. To be honest,
which is amazing to me.
Yeah, it's incredible. But these are it's price. It really boils down to that. If you have a home that's on a busy street and you have 50 steps to get to that house and there's no off-street parking, how are you going to make that more appealing to a buyer?
Right.
What's the only way?
Drop the price.
You got to drop the price, man. You got to make that price so appealing that people want to burn their quads walking up them steps with the groceries every day. They don't mind getting their mirrors knocked off by cars going back and forth because the street's so tight and so busy. It's price, man. If you have a super nice yard and you're in a cul-de-sac in the best neighborhood, it's still price.
Yep.
I mean, you can't price your home at, if it's in a $500,000 neighborhood in the best location of that neighborhood. You can't price the home like it's two neighborhoods over, which is a $750,000 neighborhood. You're not going to get it. Sometimes you get lucky, and that's what will happen with a lot of my clients. Is I'll try to explain to them, we can price this home to sell, or we can price this home to get lucky. Now, getting lucky can be expensive and stressful and frustrating. But if you don't mind stress and you don't mind being patient and you don't mind being frustrated, then let's price it high. If you truly need to sell your home and you want to sell it at the maximum amount possible in a reasonable amount of time, you can't sell quickly and for the most amount of money.
Right.
You can sell quickly or in a reasonable time for the most amount of money. But time and price are completely polar opposites. If you want the highest price, it's going to take longer.
Right.
And sometimes you get lucky. Now, if you base all of your market analysis on one sale, because the neighbor's house sold for $300,000, Mine's worth $300. Well, the neighbor's house maybe was a little bit nicer.
Maybe extra garage.
Neighbors
maybe.
just hit a grand slam. They just hit it right. Folks were coming in from Chicago where houses are $600,000. Saw your house, first house they looked like, needed to make a decision that weekend, overpaid. But the other 10 homes that sold in the past 6 months in your neighborhood all sold for $275 to $280. So we can't price your house at $320 and expect to get it sold quickly unless you want to get lucky. And then what are the cons of pricing it high? Are
Holding
stress,
costs,
frustration, holding costs, exactly. And a lot of it has to do financially, like when you're a flipper or a plipper, when you plip, every day costs you money, right? Every day is costing you dollars. So selling it in a reasonable time is super critical. When you're living in the house and you're not a super hurry because maybe you haven't designated a new house to buy yet, or maybe your relocation hasn't gone through yet, so you're just testing the market. Hey, if I get $20,000 over asking price, hell, I'll just move down to Atlanta and rent for now, right? That's a different story. Most people need to sell because they're flipping it and they need to sell it now, so they need to price it right and get it sold quickly in a reasonable time without giving it away. Or they just need to sell because they're buying another house, and if they don't sell this house, it's holding up their whole life's plans because they want an extra $5,000 or $10,000 over the grand scheme of things is nothing.
Right.
It's nothing. Because when you buy your new house and you're selling your house for $300,000, you're buying this $400,000 home, and you're worried about $5,000 or $10,000. Amortized over 30 years or 15 years, it's like pennies a month. It's not even worth it. So that's where you have that balancing act. As an agent, you have to help your clients make that right decision. But as a flipper, you need to think of it completely with your head and not with your heart and say, look, I need to sell this. I need to sell it now. So, I just sold one today. I'm looking at the contract right here. Now, I thought we were going to get about $185 to $190 for this house. And what did we end up selling it for? About $160.
Okay.
Big difference.
Yeah.
We still made a really nice profit. I was wrong on this one.
Okay.
I'm wrong on quite a few. Most of the time, I'm pretty spot on with the price we're going to sell it for. This one, I just miscalculated. But we're still going to make money. But I got to the point where we had it for about 4 months, and I'm like, well, this one needs to go.
Right.
Because this is tying up. Like, we sold it for $160. Excuse me. Let's say we're going to make $40,000 on it. So you're looking at $40,000 profit. But just as importantly, it's tying up $160,000 of our money that we could go buy 2 other flips and make $30,000 each on those.
Right.
So it's what's called opportunity cost. There's cost to buy it. There's cost to hold the property, pay your taxes, pay your insurance, pay the utilities, cost to pay the loan every month. But then there's the opportunity cost.
Okay.
That money's just sitting there killing you. Now we have another one that we have, and it's not the greatest area, and we definitely screwed up. We should have just sold it as is and literally made a few thousand. We're probably going to lose $10,000 on this property if we want to sell it. And we're to the point now where we just want to get it gone. So we might sell it and lose $5,000 or $6,000 or $7,000 or $10,000 because that property's sitting there. $50,000 is sitting there just tied up.
Right.
So marketing your flip or marketing the house you want to sell because you're living in it, whatever the case may be, the first thing and the most important thing is doing your due diligence and doing the correct market analysis, having your agent walk you through those recent sale and those comps. And most importantly, if you're the owner of the flip or the owner of the house living there, you're owner occupied, you need to try to remove your emotion from the equation, which is hard to do even for me, and I've done this a long time. Initially you're all about, I put a lot of money into that, and I think I did a great job in designing the kitchen and da-da-da. And then you realize that, you screwed up. Mm-hmm. And no biggie, just reduce the price, take what you can get, and move on. Now, the next thing I think on marketing your property is as important, not as important as price, but like the next one down is curb appeal. So what can you do to make that house look like I want to go in as a customer, right? That home buyer wants to go in. So what can't you have? How about, let's talk about that. What can't you have on the outside?
You don't want garbage. You don't want just...
How about a bus up on jack stands?
Why not?
Definite no.
Doesn't look good?
Uh-uh.
No.
How about dog poop everywhere?
No.
No grass. It's just all muddy. You don't even have the grass planted yet.
Yard would be good. Fall, probably leaves you'd want raked up, stuff like that. Yep.
Just the basic common, you need to use your common sense type of thing. The outside has to be as appealing as you could possibly make it, within reason. Okay? So curb appeal is important. That's why in a lot of cases, I will literally drive by the house and before I buy it, and I know right away if I even want to buy it. Because I know by looking at the house, there's only so much I can do to make it more appealing.
Okay.
I can't move it. It's in the neighborhood it's in, period. I can't change the house on the left. I can't change the house on the right.
Right.
So what happens when I got a house that's being, basically condemned on the left, and the right side is a lot that's been torn down, and it's the grass is overgrown.
Right.
I'm stuck in the middle.
Right.
So there's things you can't change, and sometimes you need to walk away from those even before you enter into those as a purchase. So curb appeal. Next would be when you first walk in, which is when you first walk up on the porch, or right to that front door. It's got to be pristine, and when you first open that door, it needs to have some sort of wow factor. Something needs to look really good in that first room that makes you feel like, wow, I want to look at more, and I got a good feeling about this house from day one. From the first second I stepped in as a home buyer, I got a good feeling I want to see more.
Okay.
If you walk into the contractor still has his saw there and there's sawdust everywhere and it's not even finished painting yet, or we talked about rooms being small, so sometimes you want to stage them so the rooms look bigger. You want to make sure that first step into the house is a good one. Next would be the colors that you picked. Again, we talked about this before. Colors should be neutral. Go with that. Stick with what's worked for you in the past, or stick with what works with other flippers. You want to talk to them. Lighting is important. Make sure you spend a little bit more on lighting. You don't have to spend $100 per light fixture, but don't buy the $15 light fixture. Buy something that's $20 or $30 LED that's bright and it looks nice. Lighting is important. We talked about chicks in bikinis. That is probably not so important. And
we could probably pass on this.
Pass on the chicks in bikinis. I'm going down our list here. Landscaping, it's definitely important. You don't have to go crazy unless you're really selling something that's really high end. The next thing, and these are all inexpensive to do, everything I picked. The least expensive was price. That doesn't cost you anything. Just doing your research, some time, making sure. And being flexible on that price. So, hey, you know what? This house we just sold it, I thought we were going to get $185 for it. We started at $199.9. I was flexible on the price. I dropped it again. Just 2 weeks ago, we had an offer of $145. I said, there's no way.
Right.
I'm not that desperate, and I know what I know, and I know this is not going to sell for $145. And I was right, because we dropped it from $174.9 to $169.9, and I told my partners, I said, this is going to sell in the next month, and it sold in 2 weeks for $160, because I knew we were close on the price. Mm-hmm. So you have to be flexible on your price and know when to drop it.
Do you usually give yourself a certain percentage of buffer on when you're estimating a price so that you can be flexible? Like, is it something you go in knowing, like, okay, there's the minimum I'm going to take, and hopefully I can get more out of it that way?
That's a good question. We do. And not a whole lot. Like on this is probably not a good example, but we sold a couple recently, and I priced them right around $135. I knew we were going to sell them for about $130.
Okay.
That's not a whole lot of negotiating.
No. Yeah.
And I think we sold one for $131 and one for $132.
Okay.
So don't have to overprice it, because if it's priced right, you don't have to negotiate a whole lot.
Good. Okay.
So we talked about colors, painting, lighting, pricing. The next thing would be, as far as cost, would be staging. And